Sword Rider. Transformers reviews and toy related chat. Sword Rider. Sword Rider.
Hello everyone, it's Sword Rider here and welcome to 2020. Happy New Year everyone. As you can see, as it's a New Year special, the first video of the New Year, I'm joined by a special guest. This Spot, which is the worst one I've had since I was a teenager, so you're going to have to put up with him. So in my previous video I said I was going to do top pickups of the decade. And I am still going to do that. This is what this video is about. But what I've decided to do in order to get a bit of interaction from the community, it's just after Christmas, everyone might be feeling a bit low. Let's get the community spirit going and let's get talking again. So I'm going to format this into some questions. Obviously these are based on acquisitions, purchases that you've bought in the last decade, the last 10 years. Don't have to necessarily be released in the last 10 years. And I'm going to go through these questions. I am then going to answer those questions myself. And then what I'd really like you guys to do is to do a video response or to leave a comment in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. But there is one rule first. Your answer to these questions has to be on display. I don't want an answer to the questions just to think about this one figure that you bought ages ago that you sold on. In order for it to make the answer to these questions, it has to be out on display at the moment. And obviously there's some exceptions, that if you move in house or whatever it might be, then that's fine. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. So first question, in the last decade, what is the best pickup you have had that fills a gap from your childhood? So this could be a figure that you've had before, that when you were a kid and you've lost it, or a figure that was missing when you were a child and you've picked it up as an adult. My answer to this is Generation 1 Swoop, a figure I've been looking for a long, long time, and it was absolutely amazing to actually see it on a stall at TFN. I'd missed out on a few previous years, and in 2018, yeah, it's 2018, on the Sunday morning, he was there on the Toy Food stall, and he had some Decepticon stickers on him. He was a bit grubby, missing all his accessories. Paid 45 quid for him, didn't care. That was my holy grail, and it's just a toy that I wanted ever since I was a kid, and I managed to get him. So I'm really, really stoked about that. So next question, what is the best mainline acquisition? And this was a tough one. I was thinking, do I go controversial and go Trigger Happy from Titans Return, because I think that figure is amazing. But you know what? I'm going to pick a figure that I think a lot of people would pick for this, and it is Combiner Wars Devastator. That thing, when it first came out, was phenomenal. Everyone loves Devastator. It's probably most people's first or second favourite combiner, and to get a mainline figure like that was phenomenal. And it started to change the game a little bit with the mainline. Combiner Wars was a little bit touch and go at times, but when that came out, it really set the foundations for Titans Return and all the good stuff we've had since then, apart from Power of the Primes, but we won't go into that. Okay, best MP. I could go Ultra Magnus, I could go MP36, but for me, personally, and out there, wider than my collection, I think it has to be MP10. MP10 has been reused and redecoed so many times. And yeah, it looks a little bit dated to get into the new aesthetic now, but it's still an amazing, amazing toy. The transformation is fun. Both molds look great. And it is a phenomenal, phenomenal figure. One of my absolute favourites, and I've got him displayed now in truck mode there, next to my TE Prime. But in truck mode, it looks phenomenal. And I don't think you can argue with MP10 being the best MP of the decade. Best third party. So I'm not massively into my third party. I do have some figures, and some of them are really, really good. Fans Toys Mind Wipe is stunning. But for me, what makes this figure special is that I've got no association with the character. I haven't really read much of the IDW comic, but yet this figure is absolutely stunning. It's MMC's time. It's a beautiful, beautiful figure, built well, sculpted well, feels great in hand, is fun to play with, isn't overly complex, and you know what? I think it's just a different level, and because I've got no association with the character, and I still think it's that good, and I haven't moved it on, I will never move it on. I'm really chuffed with it, and I think that is the best third-party figure I have picked up this decade. Next question, what is the most important purchase you have picked up in the last decade? Now, bearing in mind that I stopped collecting Transformers when I was a kid, and on my 30th birthday I got back into collecting a little bit more serious even, and the reason I did that is I was at Comic Con in London and I saw a reissue Predaking, a toy I always wanted when I was younger, and it was there, sitting there. It never quite reached the level of Swoop, but Predaking was always a close second, what I really wanted. And he was sitting there for £100 and I bought him, and that's what made me get back into all this collecting. So for me, that is the most important purchase because it started me down this road again. So next question is, what is the best gift you've received, either from a friend, a family member, or a stranger in the last decade? And for me, it has to be the gift from Ross and Riley at TFN, I think it was 2018, where they gifted me a Generation 1 bludgeon. And it, to this day, it still shocks me that someone could be so generous and gives you a gift just for watching your videos, just for me mucking about in this room. So Ross Riley, if you are watching this, I hope you're doing well. I haven't forgot about you. And thanks again for Bludgeon. It is definitely the best gift I've picked up in the last decade. Next question is a best find. So what is the best find that you have stumbled across in the last decade, Transformers related? For me, there's a lot of stuff I've picked up, but the one that sticks in my mind is Generation 1 Joyride. I was looking on the app Spock and I saw this thing listed for a £5 boxed, and I thought it can't be sealed. Anyway, I needed the figure anyway. It had the box and it was complete, so I offered the guy £20 for it to post it to me, and he did. And the outer box had been opened, the tape had been cut, but the inside of the box was still sealed, and it's remained sealed. That's a little sealed part of 1986, and I can't bring myself to open it. But for me, that has been the best find of this decade. It's something that you find once in a lifetime, that someone was flogging something that's been closed for 30 years, not knowing the value of it, and I think it was probably worth at least 4, 5, 6 times the amount I paid for it. So, final question. In the next decade, God, that's scary because I'll be 45 at the end of it, what one thing do you really want to add to your collection? Toy-wise, I'll probably say Fortress Maximus for me, Generation 1, but I probably won't pick him up. But forget toys, the one thing I'm going to have is that VHS video there, signed by Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, and that will happen in around 2 months' time, when me and James go to Liverpool Comic Con and we get them to sign, get to meet them and get them to sign an autograph for us. Tickets are all paid up. We're there. We've got the express tickets to get to the front of the queue. That, for me, is something I never thought I would have in my collection. Either Peter Cullen or Frank Welker's autograph, without paying through the nose online. The most important thing for me, and to start this decade off really well from a collecting point of view, is to meet those guys who voiced the biggest hero, biggest villain in my childhood, and to get a little signature. And to get something signed from my childhood, which that VHS is going to be the thing that gets signed. So that's my questions. I hope you've enjoyed them. I hope you've enjoyed my answers too. And please take part. Please make a response video or comment or whatever it might be. And Happy New Year to everyone. And until next time, I've been Zort Rider, and I'll catch you again soon.